Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello everybody, welcome to yet another episode of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Quinn Sejis and it's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you as usual. My next guest is a young man who is well known throughout St. Lucia for one thing in particular, his murals. His name is Naja Simeon and you might not know him very well, but I'm sure that you know a little bit about his work. Anyhow, here is the man behind the murals. Yo, Naja, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Great to hear, man. First of all, and to thank you for coming on. And also, I know today is a special day for you, extra special day for you. So happy birthday to you, man.
Thank you so much. It is indeed special,
Yes.
yeah?
For sure.
I like to say it's like a wake-up call, you know?
In many ways.
Reminds me of how close I am to death every year.
Wow.
So it's like, I need to do something this year and the next year, I'm getting 1 year closer to death because that's the only thing guaranteed. So it's
For
like,
sure.
if you didn't achieve it last year, get on it.
Absolutely. And it really makes each year valuable. It gives it extra value.
Yeah, it gives it meaning, purpose.
For sure.
Steve Jobs type of stuff,
For sure. All right, bro. So many St. Lucians would know you, would know of your work, but let's assume that nobody listening to this podcast knows you, knows your name, knows anything about you. Who is Naja from your own perspective?
From my perspective, I'm still trying to find that out, man. I'm still trying to find that out.
Wow.
So Naja is a work in progress even today. And I was
Interesting.
just telling you off camera that every year on my birthday, I do a portrait. So I do a birthday portrait, a self-portrait, normally with me looking into a mirror or a picture I took on that same day. And it's just for me to reflect on who Naja is, what Naja is becoming, just for me to see has my painting style changed. Do I have hair now? What's happening to Naja? So it's like I'm recording myself. I'm doing a time capsule every year, but in portrait form. And while I'm doing this, it's like a 3 hour, sometimes 4 hour meditation session where I'm just focusing on me, on my birthday, just reflecting on what did I do this year? What do I plan to do next year? How am I feeling today? So Naja is a work in progress. I don't know who he is.
Right. Let's hope that, sometime down the future, you find out.
Well, that's the plan, Life is happening. So Naja is changing, evolving, it's
Right.
Naja is just continuing to be.
Beautiful. I actually like that answer a lot. Because sometimes people tell you who they were or who they have been, but you are a work in progress. There's a quote that says, we are not human beings, but we are human becomings, ever growing.
There you go.
Ever changing.
A piece of philosophy there. That's right.
For sure. All right, bro. So how did you get into visual arts to begin with?
Oh, man. I don't know if I got into it. I think art chooses you. You don't choose art.
Okay.
I remember growing up as a kid, and my mother is going to swear that this is not true. I remember growing up as a kid, and then they always tell me, let's go be that way. Like, what are you looking at? What are you staring at? Like, let's go. Like, I would just stop. Like, daydream? Like a daydreamer.
Right.
Like, you're always staring into the distance, looking at something. I remember I'm looking at a tree or the leaves on the tree or a cow or a sheep or just an object. But in my brain, I'm studying it. All right. And later on, somebody asks you to, okay, draw that for me. And then you draw it and you're like, but how do you know how to draw that? Wow, you're talented. You're an artist. But I remember I know how to draw this because I observed it somewhere. I looked at it
Right.
in so much detail in my mind. So now I can do it. And they were like, wow, that's amazing. So I don't know. I've always been a daydreamer, always been observing stuff. And I think that's why I'm an artist.
Beautiful. So would you say that an artist is just an observer who takes their observations and puts it into, I guess, a piece?
Don't quote me on that, man. Don't quote me. I just tell you how I got into art, right? What an artist is still being heavily debated. What should an artist do
Okay.
is heavily debated. What is art is heavily debated. But in my case, how I started doing art was representing my surrounding. And for a long time, that was art. How well can you draw something? How well can you paint something? How realistic does that thing look when you do it? But now, art is about making a statement. Art is about making people think. Art is about being controversial. You know, art is now like it's evolving. It's evolving. You have contemporary art. You have abstract art. You have the classical art. So, man, art is always evolving, just like Naja. So I'm evolving.
Beautiful. That is again a very good answer. I really like that one. All right. So you might not know when you got into art, but I'm sure you'll remember when you decided to take it seriously. Because I mean, you decided to pursue, studies in visual arts and engineering technology.
Right.
So tell me, when did that happen and what spurred that on?
Boy, that's a story. That's a story that I need to tell you, right? I've always been into art. As I said, art chooses you. You don't choose art.
Mhm.
So I did art at secondary school. I was one of the best students there. I got most outstanding award. The visual arts teacher back in the time was Mr. Gittins from Guyana. I give him some credit here because in my last years, like in Form 4 and Form 5, he was really, an inspiration because he was a trained artist. You know, he studied art and he was teaching us some amazing stuff. So big up Mr. Gittins. And a lot of my colleagues at the time were doing really good stuff. So I was always into art, but when I went to university, I went there to study engineering technology, specifically architectural drafting and design, because I love to draw and I wanted to keep on drawing, not just doing engineering, because I don't like math too much. I'm one of these guys. You know, I rather solve the problem indirectly than just giving you, the straight answer. But while I was doing
Makes sense.
engineering, I took a little course, like a elective, and doing introduction to art or one of these things. I can't remember exactly. And after the course, the teacher was like, "We need to see you in the art department. We have to see you. Come to the art department." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I probably did something wrong. I'm in trouble." So you guys come there and he said, "Oh, Mr. Simeon." His name is Rodriguez Davis. One of my mentors right now. We're still in very close contact. And he said, "You did this course. You did this better than the art students. You've done it as if like you should be an art student, but you're not an art student. Why don't you consider at least taking a few art courses and doing a minor in visual arts while you're here?" And that's how we started. Because I tell you, art chooses you. I've always been an artist, but I went to school. There was no art scholarships, I don't think. So we went to school to do engineering, and then the art chose me. So I ended up doing a double major, fine art and engineering. And the rest is history.
Wow. And I heard you say that twice in that story. Somebody saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself. Two individuals. Your first art teacher you mentioned at school, at secondary school, and then the second one at university. And I think that often is a very important thing. Sometimes we just simply do not recognize how important or how skilled we are, rather. And it takes somebody else to see something in us so that it can really bring it out of us.
Well, I wouldn't say I didn't see it in myself, but
Okay.
at the moment that you're doing what you're doing. But the other person
Right.
sees the potential that you have in this area because they've already overs you. They're the giants,
Mhm.
right? And they see, oh well, I'm probably at my age, I wasn't even doing this. I always knew I love that. I was always doing
Right.
it, as I said, right? But when your art teacher is teaching, right, and everybody's playing around, but this quiet kid in the corner stays back and he finishes the task and he does it really good, they encourage that person, right? Because that person is already putting in that little extra. You understand? So art is always there. It's not like I didn't know I was good. I know I was good. You know, I was even trying to be a little bit show off when I do something. I do it extra
Right.
good because I know I can do it. You understand?
Mhm.
You know these kids in the choir that know they can sing, but they're just singing
Right.
along with everybody until you know they're like, you know what, let me just hit that extra note, and everybody's like, "Whoa, this kid can sing!" But they know they could do it the whole time. They were just,
Mhm.
you know, they were just in the hood until they stood out. So sometimes
Right.
I would stay in the hood until I stand out.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, bro. So whenever somebody says Naja in St. Lucia, the first thing that comes, at least to my mind, is murals. Tell me what your creative process in the murals is like.
All right, the creative process, it begins with everything else I do. I decided to sketch, I brainstorm. I have my iPad, pull up Procreate, and I start sketching. So if the mural is Julian Alfred, for example, I would try to get as many images of Julian Alfred. How does she live? What's her skin tone? What story am I trying to tell? What what am I my main role as an artist right now, especially doing the murals, is to make people think. Main thing. Second thing is to make it aesthetically pleasing, make it visually pleasing. The third
Right.
the third thing is to make it, how would I say it? Make it good, like make it, I want it to look like her. Yeah, I want it to be colorful, but
Right.
I want you to tell a story. So that's the process. I get images, get the story, talk to people in the community, ask them, because people will be interacting with this thing for a long time. So I want it to be in there and I want them to keep interacting with it, keep asking questions like, why did he use that color? What, why did he paint her in that position? Maybe
Right.
sometimes it doesn't end up being like that because when you do something, you don't know how people will think about it, right? I've had people do critics of my work and they're asking, you know, why did he do this and why did he do that? I'm like, well, that's a good question, but I will not answer it because I want you to, you know, keep asking the question. That's my main goal.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's the process.
Got you. Now you mentioned that Julian Alfred mural. I want to ask you what that experience was like and how inspired were you by her and her story?
Very, very inspirational, you know, for her to be doing what she's doing at such a young age, coming from where she came from. It's very inspiring for the whole of St. Lucia. I think my son is in love with her. He's only 3 years old. He sees Julian Alfred everywhere now. And he also was part of the process of me painting the mural. But actually painting the mural was one of the most stressful things ever, man. But then again, artists and myself, I mean, people like me, we thrive on the stress. I had 3 weeks, 3 weeks to paint a 3-story building. Yeah, 3 weeks. And I had to make it happen because the unveiling, you know, was a set date. So we got delayed, right? And I had to get my team together, get out there, get the design approved, and just do it non-stop. Okay. And I think we did it in 2 weeks because there was a lot of rain for some reason. There was like a week of rain, but it was very stressful. I had to make it good because I knew everyone was going to be watching. The people, oh my goodness, the people of Cicero, very serious people. They walk up to me and they say one thing. I hope I'm not being too bold there, but these ladies walk up to me and I know they were joking, but they were very serious and joking. They're like, one thing, if they're not looking like Julian Alfred, we're shooting you. I'm like, oh shit. But if you shoot me,
Wow.
if you shoot me, you can't get the mural, right? I'll not be able to
Yeah.
fix it. But they were joking because right now, when I see them all over the place now. And they're like, they're
Yeah.
very happy with the mural and they're very friendly people. But I was like, all right, these people are serious about their Julian Alfred. So I'm not even doing it for me.
Mhm.
I'm not doing it for Julian Alfred. I'm doing it for all the people of Cicero and all the people of St. Lucia. They wanted it to look like her. They wanted it to be important. They wanted it larger than life. So it was stressful being up there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. All right, but she seemed to love it. I saw that she was taken aback by it, by just the size of it, first of all, but just the moment itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was my idea, to make it larger than life. So if you look at the portrait, she's literally like walking on water. So I actually I've
Right.
made her godly, She is literally walking on water. She's running that fast. So
Beautiful.
that's what,
I really like
when
that.
I look at it now, I see that. You can see the pitons that represent St. Lucia with a small island in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by water, Caribbean Sea, Atlantic Ocean. And for that small island to be now on the world map, not just one time, but many times, many people have put us on the world map. I think the world is starting to take notice. So I had to make her, larger than life.
For sure. And you did an excellent job.
Thank you.
In doing just that.
I have to big up my team, Afani, and everybody else who worked on that project. William, everybody who was on that project. I need to big them up.
For sure. Now, I'm moving on to my favorite segment of a Game Changers podcast. It's called the Quick Hitters. So I have 3 rapid fire questions for you. Answer them as quickly as possible. All right. First one. What is your favorite spot in St. Lucia?
The beach. The beach or the forest. Man, you're asking some serious questions. I love the rainforest and the beach at the same time.
All right, no problem. I understand. Second quick hitter question. Who is your hero?
I don't have a hero, man. I'm still searching. I have many mentors, many amazing people who have guided me along the way, but I don't have a hero.
Got you. Final quick hitter question. Who would you like to see on this podcast?
What I like to see on this podcast, has Dupes been on the podcast?
Yes.
I like to see Dupes on the podcast.
He has been here.
Dupes, you have been here.
Together with somebody.
No,
but he has not been here by himself.
All right, we need to see Dupes on the podcast. Okay, Dupes? Dupes and I go a long way because we started this outdoor gallery doing these murals. And, one of the places we started was down in Piton, bringing life back to the place using people's paints, just house paints from people's houses. So I need Dupes to tell a little part of that story.
All right. If I have him on, it will be a very, very long episode because Dupes has collaborated with everybody under the sun.
Everybody.
So, yeah. But we'll make that happen. We will make it happen. All right. So we're moving on to some of the back end questions. I know that you utilize a lot of ancestral and cultural designs in your work. First of all, how do you incorporate those themes into your art, and what message are you trying to convey in utilizing those themes in particular?
All right. So as I told you, my artwork right now at this point in my life, the main goal is to make people think, make people stop and, have a moment. The artwork must say something to you, make you ask questions. So I wanted the murals because I've been a studio painter. I love doing portraits, landscapes, but all that stuff is in your house. I really started doing the murals when I couldn't show my work in galleries. So we started something called the outdoor gallery, and the outdoor gallery has now turned into, this massive mural project all over the island and beyond, right? Because now the region wants some Saki murals, and I'll be doing a few murals in the region this year, hopefully. But how I incorporate that is I looked at all these petroglyphs you have around the island. I really like petroglyphs. Um, I find them sometimes. I go and look for them and study them, and I'm like, okay, what was this person trying to say? Were they just bored? Were they just making a mark? But that's the point. You make a mark. Maybe they were not thinking about that thing will be around for many years. They just made the mark in the moment. So when I do make a mark, I want my murals to be modern day petroglyphs. So I'm making a mark, I'm making it colorful, I'm making it bright, I'm representing the times, telling a story about the past, I'm bringing the people in, I'm encouraging other people to come and paint. So I'm basically just making a mark. Yeah. And that's how I use the black outlines because petroglyphs, they paint them in white so that they stand out. When I do my colorful murals, I use black outlines and just I make marks. I tell stories. Sometimes I leave things uncolored, no color. Imagine you have a very colorful mural and then you have an area that's just a black outline. People are drawn to this area that's not colored. You have a three-story building, everything is colored. But they notice this one little spot, one little flower over there. Oh, did he leave that there uncolored? Is it intentional? Why is it not colored? It looks unfinished, but we don't know if it's finished. So, stuff like that, let people think.
Got you. Got you. So you leave things again up for people's interpretation. And I think that is a pretty interesting element in art. Because at the end of the day, art is what you make it. And you, as in the viewer, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and perception as well is in the eye of the beholder. So I think, I really appreciate that, and it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I studied a lot of engineering, and when I was studying art, I discovered Da Vinci and his codices. He wrote notebooks where he just took notes of stuff, and in there
Right.
he has engineering drawings, he has biological stuff, he has architecture, of course, he has the art. So he was doing everything. He was doing architecture, he was doing engineering, he was doing art, and he was studying the human body all at the same time. And what now
Wow.
are his codices, so his notebooks, being displayed in museums and people are buying them for millions of dollars for just his notes, his observations. So
Right.
that's during my scholarly years when I was studying stuff. I realized sometimes
Right.
you just want to make a mark, you want to leave some things unsaid, let people decide for themselves what it is. He did that in a lot of his works. There's a lot of mystery, and people are still talking about it now. And we don't know if he did not finish them or if he deliberately left them, but I think he's too much of a genius to have not finished them. I think he deliberately left things out in every single piece of art or design he did. There's something missing, and people are trying to find it many, many years later, many hundreds of years later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if there's anybody to follow in this field, it would be Da Vinci
Yes, man.
for sure. Now, last year, I know that you had some special labels designed for Peter Bear.
Right.
I looked at the labels and I was really, really fascinated by them. Can you elaborate on the inspiration behind the design and also tell maybe how that collaboration came to be?
I can see one right there, you see right there? Right? See them? My wife,
Right, yes.
such an amazing woman, has now turned them into these little ornaments with lights in them. We don't even throw away the bottles. We
Wow.
just keep them. Right? So the design for this is actually this full design. Right? Now we've turned it into a puzzle. I'm gonna sell myself right now. You see it?
Okay.
So we have puzzles, we have beach
Yes.
towels, we have tumblers, and that's a collaboration with myself and Seattle Cotton Shop. This is a one of a kind
Okay.
artist series that they're doing. It's almost like a lifestyle brand because they have everything from cups to mugs to t-shirts and everything. I'm wearing one right now. It says St. Lucia. And this is
Right.
the painting at point surfing. So what the design is literally another story. It's like a dream come true. I'm painting the mural, the Emancipation mural, and I'm up there on the screen, 3-story building, huge mural. It's hot. It's on the south side, mostly on the south side, southwest. So there's a lot of sun.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're on the crane, I have a little cooler. We should not be doing this, right? Drinking and working, but I have to stay cool as an artist. So I have some cold bears in there, and I'm having my Piton while I'm working, no breaks, no nothing. And I'm telling my buddy, son, we drink so much Piton bear, big up Piton bear. We drink so much Piton bear that Piton should sponsor us on the next mural. That's we're giving Piton too much money. Piton should just say, okay, Saki, every time you pay, just show you drinking a Piton bear. We'll have a good collab.
Right.
And as soon as I'm done with the mural, right, Piton bear calls this person from Piton bear. She calls me up and she's like, I've seen your work. It's all over the place. What do you think about doing a special label for independence? And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, you talk about speaking things into reality. That was one
Right.
of the moments when you just say, all right, that should happen. And then it happens. It's like, oh my goodness, and it start writing these moments down. Like this quote I have behind
Yes.
me that says, men of action are favored by the goddess of good luck. If you're not doing anything, buddy, nobody's gonna see you if you not say something, if you don't manifest things, if you don't have plans, if you don't have goals, it's not gonna happen. So I spoke this
Right.
and I got the call and it happened. And when they called me, I'm like, you know what? Y'all can just pay me in bed. Like seriously, I would do this for nothing. For the cost, your wife would be like, hey, you can't do this for nothing.
Right.
Yeah, bills to pay. But that's how the collaboration came, and the story behind it was me representing St. Lucia. As an artist, I make things more difficult for everybody. So they wanted one label, I gave them 3. So when I did the design, it was such a big design that it was the Pitons. It's like the Piton bear, but it's Saki style Piton, the original Piton.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the bird over there, and then I had the foliage,
Right.
and the breadfruit tree, and the banana tree, and all that stuff. So when they did the design, they did 3 designs. A lot of people don't notice that it's 3 designs come together to form this
Separate
design.
designs.
Yeah, 3 separate designs.
Wow.
So here's an example, right? So you have this one, that's the Piton with the 45,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yes.
the beginning of that would have been the bird, but then they would join together to continue the whole design. And when you have all 3 together, then you see the big picture.
Ah.
So you have to collect them
Okay.
all. You gotta collect them all, man. I call it
It is a collector's item.
collector's item. A lot of people, when they noticed it, they were like, oh my, it's different. Like we just saw colorful stuff. But now we look at it and like, wait, but I don't have a bird. but the other one I drink did not have a bird.
Right.
Another man said, I never noticed that. And people are now watching the label. Like, how many people sit and look at labels and start reading stuff on the label? So I was like, you know what? Sometimes you even gotta make the guys in the camera we think a little bit. So that was a good
Right.
experience.
Got you. Makes a lot of sense, man. Makes a lot of sense. Now, I know that you have gotten into teaching. You know, you are now utilizing what you've learned and giving it to others.
Man,
Why did you decide to do that?
buddy, I didn't got into teaching, you know. Teaching was my first job. I've been teaching
Oh,
for
really?
almost 20 years. So
Okay.
I literally graduated from school. The principal came to my house, 17 years old, just literally. My birthday is in January. So by the time I graduate,
Mm-hmm.
I'm already 17. And I graduate just before summer, right? We graduate. And then
Right.
in September, I was already teaching at
Wow.
17 years old. So
What
they
were you
must come by
teaching?
school. At a primary school, you teach everything. So I taught everything.
Okay. Okay.
Big up Mr. Kuman, who gave me that first job teaching. And one of my biggest mentors, Saturina Louisi from Library. She was a great mentor.
Mm.
And of course, my aunt and godmother, Gertrude Simeon, for encouraging me because I was young. I didn't want to teach. It was like, oh, me teach? I don't want to deal with these kids. Like, I'm young. I want to, go and I want to go back to school. I want to go to A level. Everybody go post sec. I don't
Right.
want to teach. But she encouraged me. And that's where it started. So I was thrust into adulthood, into responsibility, into
Mm-hmm.
big shoes immediately. I didn't have a chance to stray away. I was just thrown in there, lion's den. So I now had to
Right.
teach. I now had to impart this knowledge. I now had to further my education. Was at teachers college at 19 years old. So I taught at 17, teachers college, first degree, then taught again, then university, then I'm back into teaching. I'm at Chosa Secondary School. But I also teach, as you said, I do art classes at Anchasney Jade Mountain. I'm the resident artist in principle. So I teach art classes there and I curate the art gallery because they're great art collectors, amazing patrons of the art. They do a lot when it comes to art in St. Lucia, although you don't hear their names being mentioned. But they have a huge local art collection by just supporting local artists.
Right.
So I'm still teaching there.
Got you. So you were always a teacher.
Oh,
You've just embraced a different style of teaching, I guess.
right now I'm teaching only art. Before I used to teach other things, but now I'm
Right.
the art teacher. I don't even call myself an art teacher. I call myself an artist. So I'm an artist. I can teach art. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. All right, bro. So we quickly come into the end of the interview. It has been a fantastic interview. I've really enjoyed it. After your career is over, whenever you decide to just take it easy, what would you like to be remembered for?
Man, I don't know if the career is gonna be over because I've not even started. Like a lot of people think, oh my God, you're a career artist, but I'm just getting started. I'm just starting to do
Right.
things that I've always dreamt to do. So the
Mhm.
career will not be over because I will always be creating. I'll always be making art. Um, when I do get to take it easy, I mean, when I do get to a place in life that I am comfortable enough to stop painting these big murals, or I'll have a team doing it, maybe I can stand and watch them. I want to have a creative. It's like a school for the art, but I would just call it a creative center, not like a craft center, not an
Okay.
art school, a creative center where anything creative can be done. Anything. It will have studio space for artists. It will have gallery space to show artwork. It will have after school programs for children to find something to do. It will have summer programs. It's just a whole center, a bunch of buildings where people can come in and be creative from anything from craft to painting to drawing to ceramics, just
Right.
a creative center. Be creative. Come in here, learn to do sculpture. Here's an empty room. You have something to work on. Use it. Work it. We provide you the tools. Be creative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I look forward to having that. And that's not a retirement at all.
No, man,
it,
I'll be
it is
actively
just,
working. Yeah.
yes. And there's a school of thought that says that work is absolutely necessary for human beings. It is not the end of work. So retirement is not the end of work, but it is a shift in work, maybe.
Yeah, shifting work. If you stop working, you die.
You will die, yeah.
But if you're working for somebody and it's strenuous and it's then you don't want to do it. You don't enjoy it. But when you're working for yourself, when you're an artist, when you create yourself, I feel like I'm in a dream. I feel like I have hit the cheat mode in life because everything I do is like it's play. It's a form of play. I'm creating
It's
these
fun.
murals. It's fun. I'm doing this. I'm making these big things. People want to collaborate. I'm teaching art. For me, it's just fun. It's not like, oh my God, I'm doing this and I might be doing it wrong. No, all, it's plain for me. And
For sure.
I'm giving it a lot of thought. I'm making it more difficult for myself, a lot more difficult because, people are watching you. But at the end, when I look back at it, I was like, man, I had fun doing this. We painted a three-story building in 2 weeks. We painted the pyramid at Point Surfing in 5 days. Met a lot of international artists. When I did the Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds, the walls were so long I didn't measure them. Like I just did. I looked at the walls. I was like, okay, you'll need this amount of paint to do it. And the guy said, all right, you have 3 weeks to do it. It's a huge wall. I think it's over 700 square foot of wall. But I never
Wow.
measured it. I just estimated, all right,
Yeah.
that's that amount of wall. And let's get it done. And that was a huge project. We worked all night on it.
Beautiful.
But it was fun. It was not like, oh, the deadline is here. No. And then you're
Right.
scared. I'm like, no, the deadline is here, guys. Can we do another Juve on this? And everybody's like, yeah, let's do it.
Enjoyment. If you enjoy your work, they say you never work a day in your life. For sure. Final question, Naja. A young artist is watching this podcast and they were a fan of your work even before they watched this podcast, but want a word of advice. They're afraid of getting full-time into this art field. Some people say they'll starve as an artist. What would your word of advice be to them?
Boy, that's a Steve Jobs moment there, right? Let me tell you
Right.
something. When I got into this art thing, I tell you, art chooses you. It's like you don't go around
Right.
be like, yeah, boy, I want to be an artist. No, you first of all, to be an artist and to stand out from the crowd, you have to be so good at what you do that everybody will notice you, okay? And they will give you that chance because you so good. So this young artist, if he's drawing you want to do, put 1,000 hours in, like put more than 1,000, put 10,000 hours. Okay, be so good at drawing. If it's painting, if it's craft, whatever you do, put in all the time and effort. Don't think you're gonna be in this thing and half-ass it, right? The reason why most of what I'm doing is play is because I have gone so far in my practice that I'm not feeling challenged. Like when I get a chance to do something, I'm like, I've been there before. I've been to this point before. You asked me to paint a 10 foot by 10 foot wall. I'm like, all right, no problem. I will reach there. And It's not even a challenge anymore after you painted a 3-story building, right? So you have to
Right.
put yourself in the mud. Be so good at what you do. Go through the hard times, right? I used to sketch every day for a long time. Now I can do 10-minute portraits. Everybody, but how can you do this? You're blessed. You have blessed hands. I mean, I have a lot of practice. Yeah, I practice this a
Yeah.
lot. I know exactly what I'm doing. Another thing about being a starving artist, I cancel out that notion from my brain many, many years ago.
Mm.
I flipped it. I switched it up. I said I'm a hungry artist, not a starving artist. So when I come to you, I'm not starving, I'm hungry. And I don't leave any money on the table. Okay? I don't leave crumbs behind. When I attack a job and I say I want to do this, I put everything at it and I do it. So I don't go around thinking I'm a starving artist. If you go around thinking like that, you will starve. So you have to
Right.
go out there hungry. Another word of advice, don't think too much about what people say about you. People don't talk. They will talk. People will always talk. Okay? They will talk about you. Don't go thinking you're not good or your work is not good enough. No, just do it. Do it good. Do it the way you know it's good. And even though it's not good enough, there's a reason why you do it, and there's a reason why you made it the way it is. Once you start doubting yourself and thinking about what other people think, you need to go back to the drawing board, put them 10,000 hours in again, get better at it. But accept criticism. It's very important. Don't walk
For
around
sure.
thinking you know everything. Okay? But, accept criticism.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
beautiful advice, bro.
Hungry artist, not starving artist. Let's change that notion.
Hungry.
Hungry artist.
Yes, for sure. So, Anto, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate your insight. I've learned for myself, and I know for sure my audience has learned as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Queen.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So this has been yet another fantastic episode of the Game Changers podcast. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow Game Changers wherever you get your podcast. We are available on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. So whether you're listening or watching, you can get Game Changers. Anyhow, as usual, stay hungry, and I'll see you next time.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.